like, comment, and subscribe.
Hey you guys! Hi! How are you? And how are you? All the way in the back over there, and to the left, and to the right, and to the front, and to the back. As you know, it is me, Z, and no, we're not doing a TV Talk Daily. No, we're not doing a Music Maker Daily. We are going to do some nerd stuff today. First off, how was your Friday so far? Mine has been pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. But what we are going to do, we are going to count down, in my opinion, my top 10 black superheroes in the DC universe. Is that going to be fun? Now, for those people that don't know much about comic books, I'm going to introduce you into some characters that you may not have heard before, but they're pretty interesting, as well as some new characters as well. Also, I'm going to do a top 10, my favorite top 10 black superheroes in the Marvel Universe as well, right after this, alright? So, without further ado, let's get into the video! So, number 10 is John Stewart, also known as the Green Lantern. Now, he was the first black Green Lantern. There's also Simon Baz, and he's a Muslim black Green Lantern, which is pretty cool too. But John Stewart was the first, and he was introduced in Green Lantern number 87 in between December 71 and January 1972. So the reason why he's number 10 is because I never read him in the comic books, but I've watched him in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, and he plays no games. John is like, it was a good representation of black people, because you know, most of the time we don't get enough roles. Even in cartoons, we don't get a lot of black cartoons. But he was not about the mess. He will always get things done, and he was very stern. And sometimes, even when Superman and Batman were there, they would look to him as a leader sometimes. So John Stewart is my number 10. Number 9 is Tanya Spears, also known as Power Girl. Now, a lot of people don't know much about who Power Girl is. Now, Power Girl was an alternate version of Kara Zor-El, who is Supergirl in some renditions. But in this rendition, Tanya Spears was a black girl. And she was featured in Supergirl in like 2 episodes. Well, 1 really, because in the other episode, she was just at the ending. And they didn't really say much about her, just that her name was Tanya. And then this later reveals that her last name was Spears in the show. But the reason why she is awesome, because she has the same superpowers as Supergirl, which they didn't even talk about in the TV series. And she was introduced in The World's Finest, number 28, July 2014. So she's fairly new. But if you see like the art of her, she's very black. She has these two afro puffs, so cute, and she's always like, you know, she's very teenager, and for the age of 17, she's a scientist, and she's pretty dope. I would like them to introduce her more. That's the thing. They don't really show much about her, but I think she is a good representation of black superheroes. Number 8 is Marie. I always mess up her name. So Marie Joie? Yeah, Marie Joie Macabre. Well, her real name is Marie Joie, and then I think she got married to somebody named Macabre. I don't know much, and she's the Vixen. Not from Drag Race. But she's Vixen, and she's another black female superhero in DC Comics that does not get the flowers that she deserves. Now, Mama was introduced in Action Comics number 54 in July 1981. And she's very similar to Black Panther. You kind of say her story is like, she's like a female Black Panther in a way. But with her superpower, she had like a totem necklace around her neck, and I don't know much about it. But listen, you guys, if you want to learn more about her, pick up a comic book or research, she's pretty dope. But when she had the totem necklace around her neck, she can mimic any power of an animal. So if she thinks about an eagle, Sis could fly. She doesn't turn into the animals now. She just adapts their abilities. She thinks about a cheetah, she's fast. She thinks about a elephant, she's strong. Now, the Marie version was introduced in the Arrow universe, and I never could have gotten that much into Arrow. It wasn't that it was boring, I just couldn't. It wasn't fast paced enough for me. But she was in. I did see the episode that she was in, and they didn't do too bad with her. But her grandmother is also the Vixen as well, and I think her name is Amara Joy, and she was in Legends of Tomorrow. She was in live action show Legends of Tomorrow, and the actress didn't do a bad job. I just don't think they gave her enough. And that's what I'm probably going to keep saying in this video. A lot of black superheroes do not get the recognition and the comeuppance that they deserve. But that is my number 8 pick. And also, she is a model as well. So that's pretty dope. She was like the first ever supermodel. So before Tyra, before all them other girls, it was Marie Joy McCobb. I'm screwing up her name, but that is my number 8 pick. And get into the Vixen. Well, Vixen. Number 7. Number 7 is Jennifer Pierce, Lightning. Now, some of you probably heard about Black Knight because there is a TV show, and I read more about him later. But he had 2 daughters. One was Anessa Pierce and Jennifer Pierce. And we're going to focus on Jennifer Pierce because she's our number 7 pick for this countdown. And her code name is Lightning. And she appeared in Kingdom Come number 1 in 1996. Wow, that was almost 30 years ago. Wow. But she, most of the time when I see her in comic books or even like in cartoons, she's depicted as like a bubbly little girl. And what was it? In Young Justice, she was like a little girl. She was cute and funny and playing hide and go seek with her dad. But when in Black Lightning, she plays Black Lightning's teenage daughter. And China Anne McClain, my voice says yes. My spirit says yes. You are listening to this. You played the hell out of that role. And Jennifer is like she don't take no mess from nobody in this role. She at first she's not able to control her powers, but then she is. And when she does, Mama is powerful. But China Anne McClain has she makes Jennifer her own. But it's so great to see how they do it in the cartoon. She's very bubbly and cute, but then in the TV show she's very raw and very like in your face and very let's go do it. So that is my number 7, right? My number 7 superhero. Number 6. Now, a lot of people do not know who this person is. I believe probably like 2% of the nation knows who Icon is. So number 6 is Icon. Now, Icon is not originally a black person. He was an alien that basically crash landed into the world around slavery times, and a slave woman found him, and he changed himself into a black person. So he's like a shapeshifter. So the first person that he saw, he molded himself into a black person, and he adopted the name Augustus Freeman. First up, I realize a lot of these names, especially like if it's like in the 60s to maybe like the mid 80s, these names are very stereotypical. John, Augustus, Jefferson, Jackson, like no other names? I guess not. But his name was his alien name was Argnus. I think I'm pronouncing it wrong. But when he turned into a human, he adopted the name Augustus Freeman. but he is Icon. And his powers are very similar to Superman. The only thing is that he can shapeshift. Sorry. He is invulnerable. He can fly. He has super strength. I don't think he has laser vision, but I do know he has those superpowers. And I would like to see more of him. You barely seen him in he makes like 1 or 2 appearances in Young Justice. To me, the cartoon was one of the best DC cartoons out there. I would like to see him in a live action TV show, maybe even a movie. I think, but do we really want a superhero movie focused on slavery? I mean, if they do it right, who knows? But that is my number 6 pick, Icon. Number 5, Karen Breacher, also known as Bumblebee. Now, this is one of my favorite female characters of the DC universe, and there's different iterations of her and whatnot. And she was introduced in Teen Titans number 45, December 1976, and she is rumored to be the first African American superhero in the DC universe, while John Stewart is the first African American male superhero in the DC universe. But then they're saying that, and I don't really consider her a hero. There's a character named Nubia who is kind of like an Amazon sister of course Nubia. Why? Cause she black, but she's pretty badass though. She is the Amazon sister of Wonder Woman, and she was the first, I guess, the first black superhero. But I don't consider the Amazon superheroes that much. I consider them heroes, but to me, the first female black superhero is Bumblebee. But she's pretty dope. Her armor would allow her to fly. She can shrink, and she also had solar energy firing from her suit. So that was my number 5 pick. Also, in Teen Titans, she was very sassy, and I know a lot of black characters are always played as a sassy person, but she was entertaining. She didn't take no mess, and she was entertaining. But also in Young Justice, they showed the smart side of her, because she is a scientist. They showed the smart side of her in Young Justice, which I did appreciate. Number 4 is Jefferson Pierce, also known as Black Lightning. Now, I didn't know much about Black Lightning, and I actually thought Black Lightning and Black Vulcan, who was a character in Super Friends, were the same person. And the reason why he was called Black Vulcan in Super Friends is because I don't think they had the rights to put Black Lightning into the show. But yeah. When he first came around, which was, he made his first appearance in Black Lightning number 1, April 1977, and they was trying to get him to be the first black superhero for years, and they never got to until 1977. Now, the only thing, and they cleaned it up a lot, in the 70s there was a lot of black exploitation films, and he was basically molded into that. He used to speak a lot of jive, like you would see in the those 70s movies. But now in current times, he's very educational. In the TV show, he is a teacher. He's played by Cress Williams, and Cress Williams does a great job. He shows how level-headed Black Lightning can be, even though his daughters be like, "Daddy, what's good? I know you have a code of conduct, but listen, we gotta do this, that, the third, and the fourth." But like his name says, Black Lightning, he can control anything with that in the, he can control anything that has to do with electricity. He can also create electrical magnetic fields or any type of force field, and he can fly as well via his suit. But Black Lightning in the show, great. And hey, let's have a Black Lightning movie. Black Lightning season 4, I believe there has to be season 4 coming up. I'm ready for it. So that was my number 4 pick. Number 3 is Victor Stone, also known as Cyborg. Now, a lot of people know who Cyborg is via the Teen Titans cartoon, but I've also read about him in the comic books, and he appeared in DC Comics Presents number 26, October 1980. And he was kind of a stereotypical character in a way too, where he was like the quarterback of a football team, and he was in high school, and college scouts were looking for him to go play pro and whatnot, until his dad, who was a scientist. And the thing is, his origin story changes up a bit, so I'm gonna go with what I know. His dad was a scientist. His dad never really used to pay much attention to him. And one day he goes into the lab, and the experiment his dad is working on, correct me if you guys know the story more, it explodes, and he kind of dies. But his dad saves him and makes him into half man, half robot. Now, we mostly know Cyborg in Teen Titans, where he's very funny. He's like a frat boy in Teen Titans, but we don't count Teen Titans Go. I don't, at least. Teen Titans Go away. But in Young Justice, they kind of expand his storyline more, where they show how does he feel being a cyborg, being that he cannot go back to football, being that he cannot live the life that he used to live. And I like how they did his storyline in that series. So number 2, Virgil Hawkins, also known as Static. Now, for years I thought his name was Static Shock because of the show, but his name is Static. And he was introduced in Static number 1, June 1993. But he actually wasn't a DC character at first. I forgot the name of the company or the comics that he was introduced into first. If you guys know, hit up the comments and let me know, educate me as well. But the reason why he's my number 2 pick, because to me he was very relatable, especially in the show. You felt like he was, especially as a black person, you feel that you was chilling with your homie, that he was you basically, high school student, whatever. And his superpowers were very similar to Black Lightning, who is his mentor as well. And I don't understand why he is not on Black Lightning. I want to see him on Black Lightning. I would love to see Virgil Hawkins on Black Lightning. But his powers deal with electricity, yes, but mostly on the static electricity side of things, where he can also fly via like this little round thing. So before we go on to our number 1 pick of my top favorite Black DC superhero, let's look at some honorable mentions real quick. Boom. So did you see any superheroes that you know or that you liked? Comment down below, alright? So my number 1 pick is Calderon, also known as Jackson Hyde, also known as Aqualad. Now, he was introduced actually in Young Justice, the TV show, which is one of my favorite DC cartoons. One of my favorite DC shows ever, in November 2010, as well as in the comic book Brightest Day number 4 in August 2010 as well. Now let me tell you why I love Aqualad. Not only is he black, not only is he badass, not only can he command the hell out of a team, he's also of the LGBT. He is like pansexual or bisexual or something like that. But they put it in the comic book first about who he is, bisexuality and whatnot. But then in the 3rd season of Young Justice, he was dating a young man, and then I think in the 1st season he was dating the girl that plays Aqua Girl. So I think he is pansexual, like he dates whoever. But he's not only a badass for that, he's also a badass because he has electrical powers, as among as hydrokinesis, which is the control of water. Like I said before, he has amazing tactical and leadership skills, and he does not get the recognition that he needs. And I would like to see him in the DC universe, movie universe, as well as Arrowverse. Come on, it's about time. He's been around for like 10 years now, or practically about. He's the future Aquaman in Young Justice. So that was my top 10 black superheroes of the DC universe that you may not have known of. And comment below if you known any, or who is your favorite superhero in the DC universe. I am about to do a my top 10 black superheroes of the Marvel universe in a few. So stay tuned. See you later. Bye.